Welcome to, I almost said from half court. Hang on. I've never even been on that show. What the fuck? Okay. Take two. Here we go. Oh my God. Hang on. Fucking. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the Pizza Palace, as it was meant to be, with your host, Robert Winstanley, and of course, my friend, I guess, Sean Murphy. Hollywood Sean Murphy. How are you?
Oh, yeah, brother. Let me tell you. Yeah. Wait, no, that's more Macho Man.
That's more Macho Man.
What you gonna do when the Hulkamaniac, Hollywood Hulkamaniac goes wild on you, brother? There we go.
I was gonna say, don't go too Hulk Hogan, because we can't get canceled already for you dropping spin bombs.
I won't step on neck already, okay?
Yeah.
By the way, can we point out? Yeah, it's not a don't tread on me. It says no step on snack.
No step on snack. Never step on snack.
Never step on snack.
If that doesn't tell you what my personality is, I don't know what the hell does. Yeah, so last week, well, first of all, we took a huge hiatus because, you know,
a little bit
happens. But we are back in the swing of things to go hardcore for the 2022 season. And of course, as you have ditched me for bigger and better things, you brought on a bougie new host last week. So, you know, congratulations on that. It was a good run.
Yeah, that's definitely what happened. That's totally definitely how it went down. Not at all. That was
a cool interview though.
Yeah. So the real thing was you might have had the vid, and so you had to get tested.
Yeah.
And so you
It'd
know,
be going around hardcore.
Yeah, and that's why we're recording digitally this way, because, you know, listen, it's just, first of all, it's easier in a way. Like, you just all you have to do is turn on a camera. It doesn't look too bad. And on top of that, the other thing is, it's like, listen, we don't know, you know, like, I could have possibly gotten exposed to it this week, potentially, but we don't know. And it's just, okay, at this point, let's just get in this rhythm now, because otherwise we're going to be in it again at some point. This Omicron is not going anywhere. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think, with COVID and, you know, just the fluid situation of, you know, it's an easy thing to kind of get used to this for a little while, based on, like, if one of us moves or some bullshit or whatever and stuff like that, we'll kind of already be used to the format and that kind of thing. So, and like I said, it's easty because we can just turn it on and it's just way more convenient.
Yeah, this podcast ain't going nowhere, motherfuckers. Like, what's the end of sight?
I'm not leaving.
I said, I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not fucking leaving.
Oh my God. Although I will miss Danny DeVito, so, you know, RIP, unless we can squeeze him in here somehow. I don't know how that works. It would have to happen, I think, on your end.
Oh yeah, don't worry. Yeah. We could still get shirtless Danny DeVito, like, right in between us, right up and snug.
Go.
Oh, dude, he's gonna be. Yeah, don't worry. He could be a consistent thing throughout this. Don't worry, we'll make it happen.
He's my hero.
We might not have the green screen with us today, but I do plan, like, one of the things I want to really do this year is, like, I really want to get this set up better on my ends. Like, I want to get, like, right now I'm using a webcam. I want to get a real camera. I want to get I want to get Elgato key lights I can just turn on and have on the desk. I want to be able to use my green screen in the background without it looking like garbage. So that's a goal of mine for 2022. So this will be looking better soon. And, you know, here's the good news. I'll be having a lot more practice with that kind of stuff, and good opportunities are on the way to help with that. So
hell yeah. Mm-hmm. So the first task of business is that the Detroit Pistons have won a basketball game. Sean, tell me about it.
So okay, so we're not talking about my small thing.
No, well, I guess, yeah. Do we want to do that announcement now?
Yeah, I mean, it's by this time the episode comes out, it'll be Friday. This time I'll have published work.
Hell yeah. So, okay, yeah, please. Mm-hmm. Sean, tell the folks why I am now calling you Hollywood Sean Murphy.
So, I accepted a job as a intern/basketball writer at Woodward Sports, an all digital Detroit sports network. And yeah, you can find my content on their website. It's supposed to have a new website launching in a few days. And on top of that, you're just going to be seeing me writing NBA content, Pistons content, not exclusively Pistons, but I will be doing some game recaps, but also just some other
Mostly
basketball
Lakers
articles.
contents from what I know.
Yeah, mostly Clippers and Lakers. Yeah. It's
Big
all
LA
gonna
kind of
be
guy.
is all gonna be why Michael Jordan is the GOAT, why LeBron is the GOAT,
Right.
why this GOAT is a GOAT, like things like that. Those are gonna be the articles.
A hard-hitting journalism you've come to expect.
No, yeah. With Easy being on the podcast recently from Woodward, no secret that after that episode, he and I connected about possibly working there. And yeah, I'm really honored. I mean, first of all, it's a dream come true to have a job in sports media, to be at a company with awesome guys like that. So really excited to be there. And as far as what that means for us here, the show keeps rolling, baby. I mean,
Hopefully I can just ride your coattails right into that success. You know what I'm saying?
That's the plan, is like just to scoot you whatever level I get to. No, I'm kidding. No, man.
Just force me on anybody.
No, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing without you and without Troy and without there's a lot of people to thank. And so, obviously like Nick Henkel is someone that was a big mentor for me in the space. He's been really supportive, and he and I have reached out quite a bit lately.
Huge shout out to Motown Noah.
Yep. There's Cone, who came on the pod recently, gave some more exposure there. That was cool.
I really liked that too. That was a good interview. I liked him.
So I appreciate that, man. Yeah. And so, there's just, there's a lot of people that helped me get to where this is at now. And so, my brother, obviously my family is super supportive. There's too many people to list here, but it's just one of those things where I'm just humbled. And, the fact that anyone considers me worthy enough to listen to me talk about basketball, let alone hire me to do it, is pretty cool. So yeah, man, I'm just honored and excited to keep the show rolling.
Yeah, it's only the beginning. You 100% deserve it. I'm extremely proud of you because people don't see the everyday grind that you've went through for years. And so to see this happening to you, even at the smallest level and beginning to grow, I mean, it's the coolest thing ever to watch. So unbelievably proud of you.
I appreciate that, brother. Sorry to hijack the episode for a little bit. I was like
100%.
That's an elephant in the room thing we might want to get out there.
No, that's a huge thing. I was definitely planning on bringing that up. I just didn't know like where to fit that in necessarily, but it does make the most sense to just do it at the front. So, and speaking of things that you would not be here without, and that's the Detroit Pistons, who, as we have mentioned, it's very true.
It's both a team that brings me life and makes me want to die at the exact same time, and it doesn't
almost every week.
Yeah, 100%. It's great. It's a good rhythm.
Speaking of the Detroit Pistons, as a slight tangent here, my brother and I were playing 2K the other night, and as you know, we have a bracket going, and elimination style, all that fun stuff. So we had an elimination game between the Pelicans and the Pistons. Now, of course, Zion is out, which means he's also out in 2K. I will tell you this. The Pelicans have no talent. And I have never hated playing a game of 2K more in my life. Fuck the New Orleans Pelicans and their entire roster as
Did you lose
right now. Oh, I got blown out by the Pistons by like 40.
Oh, you had to play as the Pelicans. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was the Pelicans, and I kind of just wanted to kill myself.
Oh, yeah. Well, try being a Pelicans fan. I mean, listen, they have to.
Impossible.
Well, in all seriousness, think about this. They drafted Zion, who apparently will never play basketball again.
Yeah, dude, like what the fuck?
Apparently, that 2-week injury turned into 4 months, turned into he's had multiple setbacks. We don't know where his conditioning really is fully. We don't really know what his status is for the season. At this point, as
I'm concerned, he's retired.
Listen, at this point, I would wager you're not going to see Zion until maybe March. February or March. But even then, if I'm honest with you, I don't see an incentive for him to play this season, which is crazy because at media day, we were told he would be ready by opening night. So, this is,
it fair to wonder if we'll ever see him in a Pelicans uniform again?
No, that's not unfair. That's not unfair. I
Yeah.
would, first of all, I would say this. I think David Griffin owes New York, the city of New Orleans, a lot of apologies, a lot of money, a lot of refunds on season tickets because he started a rebuild with the most with the biggest income of talent in return. He literally was able to take a guy in the caliber of Anthony Davis and turn him for multiple future all-stars from the Lakers to pair with Zion Williamson after miraculously getting the number 1 pick. And you're in your 3rd coach in as many seasons. You alienated Lonzo Ball, tried to play him in a position that didn't fit his game, admittedly just didn't see the obvious gold mine. And the fact that, Zion liked Lonzo, and now you're in a situation where you potentially have ruined your relationship with Zion, and at the same time is tanking his credibility in the league. And now you have Ja Morant, who has taken 1 pick behind him, clearly the better player, clearly, and it's not close.
Oh yeah.
Also,
I mean, he's an absolute stud.
Mm-hmm. And also he's on the court, which helps.
Yep.
So,
I mean, the best ability is availability. It's just the oldest saying in sports, and it's just true. It just always is true.
And the other and apparently the worst is edibility. So that's the problem.
Oof.
Well,
and then they also decided to flip Lonzo for I don't know, Satoransky or some dumb shit from the Bulls, and now he's thriving beautifully with Chicago.
Oh, he's incredible in Chicago, and it's amazing. It's like all you have to do is let a player be themselves, and they can go places in this league. And it's just it's one of those things where they had Julius Randle as well. Now he's on the Knicks. He's better there. Brandon Ingram, he signed a contract, but he doesn't sound too happy to be there. It's just one of those situations where, if I'm being honest, I think they're going to be a team that we're going to see in Vegas in a couple years, or possibly in Seattle.
Now, that just tickled my heart for you to say the words Vegas.
Listen, all I'm saying, they are not going to be staying in New Orleans if this is the momentum that they have as a franchise. Because
now I don't want any of their front office. I don't want any part of this team, but I do want a team in Vegas more than anything else in the world.
So that's too bad. You get all of it. You get every.
Well, fuck me right in the ass then.
Go Pistons it is. Anyway.
Basically, I mean, God damn it.
Yeah, but
yeah,
that's a whole other conversation. Zion, what the fuck? Yeah, but
so I was playing as them, and I was just like, this is the worst team I've ever had to play as in my entire life. I just hated every moment. They didn't do anything well. No one can shoot threes, apparently.
Yeah.
They can't even really drive the paint well. Everything about them is slow, shitty, and it's not even a basketball team.
You're not wrong.
It's kind of an insult to call them a G League team.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, okay, well, all right. So looking at their roster, first of all, yes, yikes. Wow. All right. So their best players, they have Brandon Ingram, obviously, who's no scrub. He's fine. He can get a bucket. Jonas Valanciunas is somehow having the best year of his life out of nowhere, year 9, or year 10. You have, obviously Zion, who is on the bench, and then you have Josh Hart and Satoransky. Oh my gosh. Yeah. This is a rough roster. They are,
what I'm saying, dude,
they are 25th in offense. They are 25th in defense. They just can't
Holy
do anything
shit.
right. They're just
Dude,
not
that's what I'm
good.
saying. That's what I'm saying. So I got blown out by like 40. And then our next game was the Heat versus who did I eliminate? I don't remember who it was, but yeah, I blew out my brother in the next game as the Heat. Like I was dropping, like Kyle Lowry is my favorite 2K player maybe of all time because I just absolutely cannot miss with this man.
With Kyle Lowry, he is
Yeah,
pretty
dude.
clutch in 2K. He can't hit a
Dude.
shot right now as a Heat, but that's okay.
You didn't need to bring it up. But in the video game, he might as well be automatic.
Holy
what's
cow.
up?
Apparently, apparently executives, I saw something where in a poll, executives would rather have Evan Mobley over number 1 picks Zion Williamson and Anthony Edwards. And I'm like, that's a yikes. That's true. But also that's
Woof.
not always reliable. But it looks like it's looking like the latest update is still expected to be out another 4 to 6 weeks. He's rehabbing away from the team in Portland.
Bruh.
In
he
Portland.
He will straight up never wear a Pelicans jersey ever again.
I wouldn't go that far, but I would say he has the weirdest situation in the NBA right now in the sense that, they're just, like there's no one's talking about like what's the tension in the team, what's the tension in the front office, because clearly Zion from day one has not wanted to be a Pelican. It was obvious he wanted to go to the New York Knicks. Like that, there's just no way getting around it. So
Right.
listen, if you're New Orleans, you either you have to flip the script on Zion. You have to have a heart-to-heart saying, hey, before we're going to commit like $200 million towards you, because they do have owners, like they do have rights over his contract with his first extension and stuff. Before they're going to commit max money, they need to make sure that he's coming into the season in shape, taking care of himself, that he's taking his conditioning more seriously, because like the one thing that you can say is like, obviously, like, there's things that are circumstantial. He's been struggling with his health ever since college. Right. So some of the weight stuff I think is a little overblown. However, I mean, if you look at the photo of Zion at Duke versus, or like Zion, like at Summer League versus Zion, like in his second year,
dude, it's bizarre.
Yeah, let me hold up. Let me go ahead and pull up a picture, because it was kind of a concerning picture, like, because it's just, right, Zion second year comparison. Yep. Okay, here it is. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. We're going to do it the Zoom way. Isn't this
how
fun?
fancy we are. I like this.
Yeah, isn't this fun?
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, 100%. This is fun. Okay. So if you look right here, so we got these guys right here. Yeah, it is abhorrently bad. Like it is.
Hold on, let me move my little, there we go. Hold up. There we go. Oh, Jesus.
It is painfully obvious. Like this is right out of Duke. This is him coming right out of Duke, really conditioning.
I mean,
like,
he is swole.
Yeah, like that is not definition. That is not muscle. And like, this is not to shame him whatsoever. Like I'm not a small guy by any means, but like it's
sure,
just those,
but
something different something has changed about his diet, or something has changed about his commitment to the gym. And it's like something has to change to where, like even guys like Luka Doncic, they're just coming in, not looking in shape. They're struggling to keep up in games. Like even James Harden, he has to play himself back into shape when he comes into the season. This is like a common issue with certain players. And like,
I was just going to say, I was like, what do you think that is?
I think it's like the definition. I think it's like the difference between an all-star and a superstar. I think it's guys choosing like how they're going to commit their like to their bodies. I think like, because for example, you look at LeBron James, the reason why he's always available, the reason why he's had as long as a career as he's had and been able to play as successfully, as consistently as he has, is that he came in and he he spends $1 million a year on his body. Chris Paul,
Right.
Chris Paul started doing the exact same thing, like talked to LeBron, got connected with his own team. Chris Paul's been an Iron Man ever since. He used to just get injured come playoff time and not be available. Now he's playing all the time because he's committing to his body. I mean, even look at Victor Oladipo, for example. Once he played with Russell Westbrook and looked at the commitment to his body and his diet and his conditioning, like Victor Oladipo literally overhauled his diet and like got cut in the summer, like got cut physically, and just
Right.
that's when he emerged as an all-star and had that run in Indiana. So it's just one of those things where I think guys are like that you can be in good shape, in the good enough shape to play NBA basketball and still not be in good shape. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
100%.
Like even
No,
look at Nikola Jokic. He's far skinnier now than he used to be. He came into a season one year really heavy, and he was heavily criticized for it, and he wasn't playing as well. But then he learned how important it was to take care of his body, and now he's in the best shape of his life, and he's playing MVP basketball. He won MVP of the league last year.
right,
So
right.
and part of what makes Giannis so dominant, by the way, like another guy like him, is because
He's always in shape.
his conditioning is world class. His physique is world class. His dedication to his body, world class.
Like he always looks amazing.
Yeah, 100%. It's terrifying because even when he came back from COVID, he's just charging the bucket. And it's like, oh, okay, yep, nothing affects him.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Utah would really have to poison that pizza, probably stronger than what they gave MJ that one night, whatever olives they threw in there.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and speaking of young players, our boy Kadarius Cadathan Cunningham.
Kadarius Cadathan Cunningham.
the the central part of this rebuild. He and the Detroit Pistons.
Future.
These guys, since our last episode where I was on, they managed to do something they haven't done in 4 fucking years. They beat
Milwaukee Bucks.
The Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee.
Yep. Pistons have now won 4 of their last 6. They have beaten the Milwaukee Bucks and the Utah Jazz. Cade Cunningham,
which is pretty amazing.
Cade Cunningham led the Pistons from down 22, shooting 0 of 5 to start, and then eventually getting to the point where he ended up shooting 10 of 17 from the field, 29 points, and Sadiq Bey adding another 29 himself. Just holy crap,
Sadiq
man.
Bey has really been on fire lately too.
Oh, Sadiq's been playing phenomenally. He's on a different level as far as his game goes. I think his big thing is just going to be continuing to be consistent and being able to figure out what to do when that shot isn't falling. And I think that's
right.
Cade, to his credit, the part that's great about his game is he could still find a way to affect the game even when he's not scoring. And that's the difference between a good and a great player is, you can score the ball all day long. That's great and dandy, but if you're not doing anything to make the team better, but the thing about Sadiq is when he's efficient and having nights like these, he's amazing for the team. He's a huge difference. He's what can help us have wins like these. So
yeah, the second he lost confidence, it definitely, it affected his game completely. Like he was just not even close to himself. But the second he just got a little bit of that confidence back, he's suddenly Sadiq Bey again.
Yeah, there is something amazing about seeing that ball going into the net. You know what I mean? Like it's something simply just about being able to take a shot and see it go through, and to see it start to consistently go through, and to have that feeling and that rhythm again. It's really undescribable, like how much that can affect your confidence and how much that can change your career. And listen, this guy's been historically a great shooter at every single level, high school, college, pros. So
Right.
I wasn't worried, and turns out he's still really good. And I would make the argument that at this point, he and Cade are the cornerstones of this franchise. It's Sadiq
Yeah,
and
as it
Cade.
seems to stand right now. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the other night we beat the Utah Jazz, which is certainly no small feat, specifically for a team that is in the current state that the Pistons are in right now.
Yeah. Even didn't
Um,
have Dwayne Casey there. So they had to coach against
right.
Quinn Snyder with their assistant coach. So we outcoached and won the turnover battle against one of the best, most disciplined teams in the league.
And the Pistons looked really, really good throughout most of it, and they even kind of ran away with it towards the end there.
Yep. Cade controlled the game. He completely controlled the fourth quarter. Once he came back into the game, there was literally no doubt, which is insane. And
Oh yeah,
even Donovan Mitchell said of all the rookies he's played, Cade's at a different level.
which is hilarious now, considering the all of the nervousness and on edgeness that was the Pistons fan base for the first like 2 weeks of his career. You know,
Dude,
and I understand it because when you're in a franchise like the Pistons that has legendarily fucked up everything they've done pretty much ever, I can understand where you're immediately like, oh no, oh no, oh no, because you just, for the love of God, all you've ever wanted as a fan is to see success and to see this fucking team find a LeBron James or something even close, because we're sick and tired of getting a whole bunch of Darkos.
Listen, I understand. And can I share my message?
Yeah.
Fucking relax, people. Just stay patient. Let this team develop and play, because listen, this team was down 22 points in the second quarter with their assistant coach. They totally could have quit. That game totally could have been a 40-point swing.
Yep.
But instead, Detroit in the second quarter said, okay, let's come back. Let's take shots. It started falling. They had confidence. Their young guys led the charge. They committed to the defensive end of the ball, and they showed consistency among their staff and preached the same messages they would preach if Dwayne is in the building or not. At the end of the day, if you can execute, it doesn't matter who's in the coaching seat. So,
well, and I think it finally once and for all proved you know, really validated Pistons Twitter's arguments for the past few months that actually Diallo is in fact the franchise player and the MVP and the cornerstone of this franchise, not Cade, and that we should actually trade Cade Cunningham in an effort to get back Sadiq, or not Sadiq, what the fuck was that guy's name?
Jackson Hayes.
No. Sekou Doumbouya. We need to make sure to get him back.
Yeah.
And we need to put him and Diallo as our two main cornerstones of this franchise. Just like Pistons Twitter has been saying, they have been right all along. And honestly, you got to really give them a hand for that.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, they were right. I mean, Hamidou, he had 10 points.
I mean, what a fucking stud. I mean, this dude, I'm telling you, if I don't see him get like a 10-year maxed out insane contract, I'm going to riot. I'm going to burn all my Piston shit.
Yeah, yeah, just carrying. I mean, listen, all jokes aside, I want to see Hamidou on this team for a long time because he's damn good. You know what I mean?
Sure, but it is hilarious that people talk about him as if he's Giannis Antetokounmpo.
But listen, let's be honest about what he is, man. He could be like a solid bench guy for us. He's a bench energy
role
guy.
player. Like 99% of this goddamn team is a bunch of fucking role players that are like decent enough at what they do. Like, let's all fucking call.
But also,
down.
like, that's fine. You know what I'm saying?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But we also don't need to crown we don't need to crown every young dude who has like a decent 3 games as being
the franchise.
Like our future. Yeah, exactly. It's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
I've had to just stop looking at Pistons Twitter because every week they claim that some new guy who I've never heard the name of is suddenly the next god of the franchise. And it's always like our lowest fucking member that I'm like, who the fuck? What are you talking about?
So I wrote an article about the game.
Oh, here we go.
And it actually did not get published yet as a recording. I don't think it's going to, but one of the things I said in the article was that and I can even just read it, is that in my opinion, I think the more I see Cade Cunningham succeed, the less I'm patient with Killian Hayes. Now,
agreed.
I will read it directly from the article. let me say this before I talk about Killian Hayes. He is a talented young player that with a lot of work and development can be an outstanding guard in this league. The nights that Killian excels, it's apparent to see why Troy Reaver selected the guard out of France on the 18th of November, 2020. Killian's size and defensive ability matched with his playmaking make him an intriguing prospect. However, with Cade Cunningham being part of the equation, who does everything on the court better than Killian, Hayes immediately becomes a background player on the court and is difficult to track his impact on the offensive end. Despite Hayes' strong shooting performance towards the beginning of the season, he's actually down in scoring and he is shooting worse overall from the field.
I think that's an extremely accurate assessment. And honestly, from that, I feel like the path going forward for him, if he does turn into a good player for the team for the long haul, okay. But honestly, I feel like he's a solid get his value as high as we can and flip him.
Yep, 100%. Well, and like, listen, it's you gotta see what you have with him, but you also have to make a clear decision with him because you can keep trying this lineup with Killian and Cade starting together. It doesn't work offensively. Yes, defensively, it's great to have both of those guys on the court, but there's a reason why at the end of the games we do not close with Killian and Cade together because they just don't naturally work together. And the other thing is that Killian requires the ball to be in his hands. And a lot of his playmaking, he just gets the ball, brings it up the court, and within 6 seconds, he doesn't have the ball anymore. And then he's just standing in a corner. And if he can't create his own offense, if he can't score with inside the 3-point arc, because he went 2 of 8 from shooting last night against Utah. 1 of 1 from the 3.
Oh, Jesus.
So he was 1 of 7 inside the arc. A lot of those shots were in the paint. And it's so frustrating because a lot of his takes to the rim, he's trying to avoid contact. But the problem is that that should be what he goes to is contact because he's 6'5". He has a big body. Use that to your advantage. You literally have the capabilities to be an all-star. Like
that's bizarre.
You have those tangibilities. You know what I'm saying? Like you have those tangible things that make up an all-star, but you just for some reason play terrified. It's like Ben Simmons with a fro. It's so weird.
You know what's hilarious is for all of my Yankees fans out there, of which there are not many, but if you're there, you'll get this, or baseball fans. He is to the Pistons what Clint Frazier was to the New York Yankees. And for those who don't know, basically, it's this guy who had all the potential in the world. He could have been our starting left fielder, sorry. And every time he got the opportunity, every now and again, you'd get a glimpse, just a little glimpse. He'd hit a couple home runs. He'd make some diving catches. He kind of seemed like the guy. And then all of a sudden, he would just get really spooked and basically shit the bed. And it was just like, sorry, bud. And now he's a Cub.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
We gave him a shot for a little while, and now he would argue that the Yankees basically threw him to the corner, blah, blah, blah. Fuck him. But like, same thing with Killian Hayes is that we've been hearing very similarly, like, oh my God, just give him a chance. Just give him a chance. He just needs time on the court, blah, 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 blah. We keep hearing this, and it's like, we're not saying he has no talent. Right. We're not saying that he isn't good. Right. But he clearly is not playing to what he could, and whether it's something he can get over the hump and achieve or not is really entirely up to him.
Yeah. Yeah. 100. Well, not only that, but also he just has to prove what he can bring and add to his game. Now, personally, I think that the team would be far better off with splitting their minutes and making them both run the point with their own lineups. And if Cade has the ball, like number 1 ball responsibilities in the start with all those guys on the starting lineup, and then Killian can have a lineup where he can he could play a bull, try to do some give and go action, pick and roll, kind of run the offense around those guys off the bench with Frank Jackson.
My favorite new addition as a Pistons fan of all time. Bull, motherfucking Bull, baby.
Dude, we got Bull, baby.
I can't wait to see him on, if we still have him by February 11th.
Well, he should be with the team tonight.
Oh, well, that'll be fun. Who do we play?
The Bulls.
Ooh, yeah, go Pistons, totally.
I mean, we played the Jazz last night.
Well, I was just meaning because I'm a bandwagon piece of shit. So
Yes, you are. Anyway, we don't
if
got
it
to
wasn't
talk
such a
about that.
hassle for me to get to my closet that's literally right there, I would go and throw on my Bulls jacket.
Well, anyway,
I love pissing you off.
ignoring that.
But
Uh,
no, I think you know, you and I have talked about many times off pod about the future of the Pistons and where they're headed and stuff like that. And we've laughed at length about Pistons Twitter's takes about the Pistons, that kind of thing.
right.
And I think for me, I've reached the point of to where the only guy that I'm 100% totally sold on that to me is a Piston for this rebuild for the next however long a rebuild should go, maybe 5-10 years. For this future of this franchise, it's Cade Cunningham, and everything else to me is a tradable asset. And that's not to say that I don't want Sadiq Bey on this franchise and to win a championship with us. And same thing for Isaiah Stewart and perhaps Diallo, although I'm not as sold on him as others. But you know, some of these guys or whatever, like
Right.
oh, and Jeremy Grant, although I think it's basically a done deal that he's getting fucking traded.
I mean, yeah, his how like just his deal is just so you know, like the
It's
deal that we're
over.
getting, all the calls that we're getting, it's just like you know, just one of those things where it just feels like it's destined at this point. You know, I've
Right.
just accepted. It's like, all right, it's gonna happen. You know, I don't know where, I don't know to who. I would love to see. I know Memphis is a team that was named. I'd be intrigued to see Jeremy Grant with John Morant. That'd be really fun. I know the Knicks have been talked about, so I'd be interested to see what that deal with. You know, listen, I am open to any deal. I'm excited to see what happens.
For sure.
Don't bring back Talon Horton Tucker, so help me God. But as long as we don't have him, I'm good because I mean I think he could be a good
the
player.
Lakers really have nothing to give us. I think the only teams
that's
that have
the point. They
Right.
really just have Talon Horton Tucker and a couple second round picks.
Yeah, I think the only teams, and I didn't watch your video with Troy, unfortunately, sorry, but the one where you guys were talking about this exact subject, basically. But I really do think the only teams to me that have any value that they could spare us that would even maybe be interested is Memphis, the Knicks, maybe the Heat, maybe the Clippers, yeah, maybe the Bulls. Although I don't know if the Bulls, because since the Bulls are kind of on top and they don't seem to be missing anything too bad, I don't know if they'd necessarily be willing to give up something as valuable potentially as Patrick Williams for him. You know, I don't know if they maybe they do feel like they would need an instant gratification like Jeremy Grant to get over the hump, but maybe they don't, and they don't seem to have needed it thus far. But I could see a team, I don't know if they've been discussed, but I could see, you know, a team like the Heat, how you were saying, you know, with Lowry not shooting as much or as well as he could be right now. They're a team that always needs firepower and they've got plenty of assets.
So the teams that are among that have been named as interested in Jeremy Grant: the Wizards, the Knicks,
Disgusting.
the Blazers, and the Lakers.
The Blazers? What the fuck? They need to blow up their whole goddamn team, not add.
Well, yeah. Listen,
that team is honestly right now the Blazers might be the biggest nightmare franchise in the NBA, and no one realizes it.
Well, the case would be that you would probably try to build around Dame and Jeremy and try and switch out CJ to bring in another wing and make that team bigger. That would be what you would think. I'm not justifying that. You probably
holy yikes.
I'm not that's my only theory. I
know that's totally it. Yeah.
I don't think it's happening. I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're just a team that's interested because I think they're just trying to come up with, you know, their quick decisions with Dame just to how to keep him.
They're in full panic mode because they have 100%. No fucking plan.
And this has been a terrible season for them. This is the worst case scenario.
And before we move off of the topic of basketball, now that we've kind of covered a lot of, you know, what I wanted to cover with the Pistons, I will say, like I was just saying, the Trailblazers really truly might be one of the top 5 teams in the worst position of any NBA team right now. They are teetering on the brink of fucked.
Now, I would wager, or I would halt some of that solely because worst case scenario, they can always trade Dame and get value back. If
Oh,
Dame,
for sure. He's
if
definitely worth. Yeah.
so they're not in a top 5 worst position, because no matter what, any team with that fail safe in their back pocket is not a top 5 worst situation. However,
I mean, that's assuming they use those picks to actually get anything good, which you can never
yeah.
know.
Now listen, I will say, um, significant change needs to be made in the organization. Front office needs to be clean house, in my opinion.
Big time. The coaching staff's got to go.
Coaching staff, it's Chauncey's first season. I don't think
I love him.
I don't think this is any of his fault. I don't think. Listen, he Dame liked the hire of Chauncey. I would still work on that. See if Now I will say, if the coach wants to bring in their own, if you're like either you keep the coach, you keep Dame, and you try to you try to change that format, that core around Dame, or you just say fuck it and you just start over.
I really feel like, yeah.
Personally, I definitely think I definitely think that there is a situation where you can say, all right, like, we just got to blow this up, and that is something that could come soon. But I don't think, listen, Portland has, they have the right to try and still build around Dame. They could still try. But
I feel like here's why I feel like they are teetering on the brink of fucked, and why they seem like they're headed towards Sacramento Kingsville, is because they just have such a nope, we're gonna stick with this come hell or high water mentality about Damian Lillard. And don't get me wrong, I fucking love the guy. He's one of my favorite players. But right. I mean, they're kind of just hoping that he can LeBron it, and they can just sort of schlap whoever they want with him, and then it's gonna work. We'll make the playoffs. We always make the playoffs. Fuck
it. The theory's not honestly though, the theory's not too deep as to why it's the case, because the only way that Portland is going to build a team around Dame in Portland that can get a situation where they can actually start winning is they'd have to get into the luxury tax at this point. And they already have so much salary tied up to CJ and to Dame that they believed in that core so much that they're completely squeezing any other parts of their team.
Are they literally wasting their entire budget on 2 players?
Not their entire budget, but it's solid amount of their salary cap does go to Dame and CJ. Okay. Now here's the other thing. I would say you need to reevaluate. You need to reevaluate who it is exactly that you're building around him. Because if you look at the roster, their starting center, Yusuf Nurkic, he hasn't been super effective for them. Robert Covington has been hit or miss. You have Norman Powell, who you brought in. He hasn't played necessarily up to expectations. This team is the worst team in the NBA defensively. My apologies, second worst. They're 29th. Dame is not a good defender, particularly.
No. Yeah.
So the fact that this team is as small as it is and defensively weak as it is, it's just not a good team built around Dame that actually fits him.
I feel like there's only 2 options, in my opinion, when it comes to the Trailblazers. I feel like option number 1 is the most likely of them just being like, too bad, this is what we're going to do. And they pretty much just waste his entire career into the ground. They get almost nothing for it. And then they go into absolute NBA purgatory hell, where it's like, now we have nothing. Right. We have to just rely on the draft, and we'll see what the fuck happens. I see them completely blowing it and sending this franchise into the abyss. The second option would be that they flip Damian Lillard to, I don't know, the fucking 76ers or the Lakers, or someone that basically just needs a guy whose only purpose is to shoot threes.
Well, okay. So Portland, if Dame gets traded anywhere, he's not going to go there just to shoot threes. He will be a big part of what they're doing. On top of that, the other thing is that
Well, I'm not saying that he's like unathletic, but I'm just saying like he's there to be firepower because obviously he's not bringing a lot defensively.
yeah,
He's decent enough in most other areas of the court and stuff like that, but he's mostly going to be there for firepower. So he's going to go to a team that's mostly like a team that already has a leader, a team that
right.
already has like a solid foundation. They just need a guy that can fucking sharpshoot.
Right. You're right. They need another guy that can score the ball, create their own offense. I
Yeah.
do think Philly's a great fit for him. However, I don't blame Portland for not wanting to concede because listen, they do have that supermax contract. And unless Dame comes to them and says, hey, I want to move on, which he hasn't done, which he repeatedly says he wants to win in Portland. So in their situation, of course, you're terrified to trade a star like that because the reality is Portland is by no means a destination for free agents. On top of that, you don't exactly draft a guy like Damian Lillard very often. He is a once in a generation type talent. Like there's maybe only like 5 point guards in a decade that are as good as him that were drafted.
For sure.
So it's one of those things where it's terrifying and it's difficult. But at the other hand, I just, listen, what they have, there's been a lot of finger pointing done by the Portland organization. They fired their coach, like assuming that was part of the problem. That hasn't helped. Nothing has changed. So I think it's time to start looking at the front office, and there needs to be some significant shakeup in the front office because, like, listen, there's just what you've tried is not good enough. And this philosophy to build around Dame and CJ, we've seen its ceiling now. We have seen it.
Oh, yeah. I just feel like at a certain point, it's like they have to just accept that it's over.
Yeah.
You tried. It's over. You blew it with a legendary player's career, basically. And honestly, like, would trading him to the 76ers for Ben Simmons be a huge risk? Yes. But also wasting Lillard's entire fucking career with you is really not much better. And he's a younger player who has technically the ability to have more athleticism in some aspects of the ball than Lillard. But like, it's just like, what are you going to do at this point? They might as well just fucking try something because right now they're doing nothing.
Right. But you can get a package back that's better than just Ben Simmons. You can go to Boston.
Like, I don't mean like just him, but yeah.
Like you can go to Boston and you can ask for Jaylen Brown. Like you can go to other teams. You can go to the Kings and you can demand a ransom. You know what I'm saying? Like you can, there are teams that would be able to trade significant assets in order to
that would be the dumbest thing I've ever seen in the NBA, by the way. If the Kings gave up like Halliburton and Fox for Lillard, I would shit myself hard.
I was just coming up with an example,
No, for sure. But just imagine, picture this for a second. The dumb fuck Sacramento Kings go out and they get a not that young anymore Damian Lillard, who's basically good at more or less just the offense, and they have nothing. I'm talking nothing on that team.
Who are you going to build around?
No talent. They have no fucking talent. So you're going to just randomly drop a very, very good offensive scorer onto a team with no fucking talent. And then the Portland Trailblazers are now going to get two of my favorite young players in the NBA that they can easily build around and actually have I would think, the ability to build around them a lot better than the fucking Kings do.
I wouldn't be so sure about easily building around a guy like De'Aaron Fox anymore.
Fuck you.
He has not progressed since his rookie year.
Heck you. But
listen, the Kings.
No, it's true.
The Kings don't have a good system, but at the same time, you're getting paid max dollars now, man.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Yeah, very true.
But this team in general is disappointing.
I would take him and Halliburton, and then whatever the Trailblazers would then, either get or already have as a team over having just Damian Lillard.
Yeah. Robert, can I just say, for a podcast we call a basketball variety podcast, this is by far the most basketball we've ever talked on this podcast.
We are making up for like how many episodes have we done?
Oh, we've done 4 or 5. Well, this is episode 8. But
holy shit.
Yeah, but this is the 7th one we've done together.
Okay, but yeah, so we're making up for the other 6 that
Mhm.
we talked no basketball.
That is true. That is very true. This
You
is
got to make
very
up for lost
basketball heavy.
time.
We're finally talking hoops.
Which is, hey, the whole point of this podcast was to talk about things that I'm interested in. And right
Yeah.
now, with the NBA season being right in the thick of it, there's a lot of things to talk about. Like at the beginning of the season, all you can do is basically talk a bunch of hyperbole because you have no
Yeah.
fucking idea what
Yep.
these teams are truly. And then
Mhm.
towards the end, everyone already knows what these teams are. So this is the most interesting part of the NBA season where you kind of know, but you're not entirely sure where these teams are going to end up.
Yeah, because now, like at the end of the day, the teams that we're going to see now are going to be different than the teams that we see after the trade deadline.
Sure, absolutely.
There's
When
going
is
to
that?
be it's within the next month. I believe it's in February or March.
Sick.
NBA trade deadline 2022 is February 10th. So a month from yesterday.
The day before we go to the Pistons game.
That's true. That's true.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
That's poetic, dude. It's absolutely poetic.
I love that. I love that.
I freaking love it, dude. Yeah. But anyway, I think it's just it's one of those things where you have teams that I think now especially understand how open it truly is at the top of the mountain. It hasn't been this open in a long time, and you got to capitalize. And like, if you want your shot at the title, you got to go all in. And that's
now is the time.
Yeah, like that's like why Chicago made the trades that they made. It's like, okay, it's like,
which, by the way, went 1,000 times better than either of us ever thought that was going to go.
DeMar DeRozan's been phenomenal for them.
Like he's literally suddenly become like league MVP level good and seemingly out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's literally the best player on their team.
It's amazing.
Top 5 scorer in the league, like a guy that should be in the MVP conversation.
It's absolutely amazing. It really is.
Bulls and Memphis are 2 of the hottest teams in the league. It's insane.
Which I'm only okay with Memphis because I fucking love Ja Morant. I just love him so much.
Memphis is the most fun team to watch in the league, and it's not close.
They just have some of the worst unis of all fucking time. But
I understand that, but dude, like it doesn't even matter what they're wearing.
Fun to watch.
They're the league pass team of the year by far, dude.
They honestly should just play naked. That'd be better. Wait, what's that ESPN magazine where sometimes they're naked? What is that, Body Edition? They should just do a Body Edition.
Like
no, not the swimsuit. There's a
the body edition. The body edition. Yeah.
Yeah, they should do the Body Edition. What is this show?
Nope, we're not diving deeper into that. Like I was just like watching. Yeah. I was just thinking of Shaq getting ready to dunk it. And I'm like, oh. Yeah, we don't got to do that. But anywho,
no, just full member to the nose. But like
Woodward, I'm sorry. Anyway,
I have two questions to end the NBA section.
Yeah.
Number 1. Well, it's not really a question, but my bet with you, I think, is fucked.
Oh yeah, you're fucked. You are fucked.
So fuck you to the LA Lakers for fucking me in this bet. Number 2.
Can I pick the shirt I get now?
Not yet. Fuck you. I don't give up. I don't give up until the fat lady sings, but you might want to start looking.
I already found it. It's that jacket I sent you. I want it. The hoodie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's dope as fuck.
I want it.
Yeah, you should send that to me. All right. Number 2. Now, you know that I'm a closeted Celtics fan.
Yes.
Please give me the state of the Celtics address. Are we fucked?
All right. The short answer is it's not good right now. The long answer is it's time. It is long overdue for Boston to begin to make some decisions and to finally actually getting some talent around Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I think you're in a situation where the decisions were made to do your best to try and accumulate talent, and a lot of those decisions you just chose poorly, right? Kyrie Irving was the wrong choice. Kemba Walker was the wrong choice. Terry Rozier's gone. You lose Gordon Hayward. Like you lost so many players, and then you have to accept as a franchise that, listen, you screwed up when it comes to building around this team, because the guys that they have right now, they're not good. They're not good enough.
Right.
They just don't have it cut. Also, damn it, that hoodie's gone. Anyway,
Brutal. Absolutely
brutal. Life is but a
You hate to see it.
dude. You really do. God dang it. But anywho, that's okay. You can just buy me a K jersey instead. But anyway,
LOL.
no, I'm kidding. But
yeah, I was gonna say this t-shirt really morphed.
yeah, it's funny how expensive it got when I won.
Out of nowhere, it went from like yeah.
Oh, don't act like you were gonna look for something cheap. I'm not stupid.
No, I might have went to the clearance section. You don't know. You don't know me.
I do know. You never shop clearance.
That's mostly true.
Anyway, yeah. So the
Celtics aren't fucked, but they're definitely not in a great situation.
They just need to make a decision. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Is that what you're building around? Because listen,
it really does feel like it's a commitment issue. Like they haven't just committed to one program in the last few years. Like they've just made so many, like you said, roster changes. It seems like it's not been the same team twice for the last like 5 or 6 seasons. And it's just been a rotating cast of like, well, I don't know, Isaiah Thomas and Al Horford was kind of cool for a minute, and then now we're gonna try out Irving and Hayward, and then never mind, we're gonna try out fucking Rozier and this guy, and like they just keep bringing in guys that are all really talented, really good players.
Yeah,
but they don't stick with any of them for more than like a season, and they just kind of give up, and they haven't found any good match between any of them. Like, they haven't
had salary cap. They've had to trade picks in order to move Kemba Walker's contract off of the team.
Not great.
So like you don't have many assets anymore. And even the ones that you do, like, like the guys that you do have that you could use to potentially flip and get a star. Marcus Smart, they don't necessarily want to trade him. One of their biggest problems is toughness as a team. So like you want to trade one of your toughest guys, you have your center and like Robin Williams, another guy. Obviously they really enjoy, and it's
didn't he die?
Robert Williams. Well,
so hold on. My question though is, would it be either fair to say that they are in this position and or that they are very close to the situation of are the Boston Celtics a team you would consider in or entering NBA purgatory?
Oh, they're in purgatory.
Yeah.
Yep, they're in purgatory until either someone on that team definitively becomes a leader, or until they finally get some talent around those guys and actually build a competitive squad. Because now,
it's a good thing that we promoted the head coach that couldn't get them fucking anywhere to general manager. So
yeah, because the best thing to do when a coach loses the locker room is to be the one that decides their futures and runs the organization.
Really fucking good idea.
Yeah, that's the guy that should have full power.
100%.
Full autonomy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so basically the Celtics are more or less on the gravy train to fucked.
Yeah, and Jerry West, retired, but then all of a sudden, wanted a job in Utah as their president. Like how crazy that happened, that, a great executive went to another great organization, and now they're, because listen, if Utah
somehow an equally racist one. I'm sorry, I'm just making a joke at Boston and Utah for being very Caucasian.
That hit different. That was just I wasn't prepared for how true that was. But it's I can't say no to that.
Whoops.
No? But it's just one of those things where they're gonna be they're already a great franchise. Now they're gonna be set up to be even better. And it's like it just feels like I don't know what happened with Boston. Maybe Ainge was just there for too long, and maybe they just need new blood in that front office altogether. Because listen, I just don't think getting fired into being the president is never a great transition into being a president.
No,
Generally you want coaches who won something to run your franchise. So
you would fucking think, right?
yeah, no,
It's kind of
yeah,
like if
not.
Matt Patricia suddenly became like the front office of the Lions. It's like,
It's
oh
like
man,
if
that's
Matt Patricia suddenly became the commissioner of the NFL.
oh,
Like
don't do that to me.
gets fired. Hey guys, so I'm gonna run things. First of all, CTE doesn't exist. No, it's a lie. Everyone's gonna wear
That's
hoodies.
just Roger Goodell now.
Everyone has to play with pencils in their ears. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, there's really nothing different.
That's just the same guy. Speaking
Also,
of the NFL, yeah,
also don't question me. I know everything.
everything. I worked for the Patriots. So
I worked for the Patriots.
speaking of the NFL, Sean,
Yes.
your specifically Detroit Lions.
Yes.
They pulled it out. They beat the Green Bay Packers. How are you feeling about that, buddy?
Yeah. I mean, listen, man, it was a good Sunday.
What a high note to end on.
Yeah, it was a fun game to watch. Obviously, Detroit, ever since they made the decision to for Dan Campbell to start calling plays, he drastically improved as a play caller as the season went on.
And also they fired their offensive coordinator for obvious reasons.
Because when you stop calling plays, you're out of there. But it's just one of those things where I'm just grateful that we were able to end on a solid ending. We have momentum as a franchise. And on top of that,
They have the exact opposite of losing the locker room.
yeah, 100%. Like Dan Campbell clearly, like those guys didn't quit and they competed each and every week. And there's a clear vision there. Now, obviously, I've been paying attention to a lot of Woodward content and, kind of like the big talking point is now it's kind of some of those like financial hardships that are going to be coming. So eating the contract of a Trey Flowers is coming up in our future.
That's definitely going to have to happen.
We're gonna have to have to make some decisions on some guys, who we're gonna pay, who's gonna stay, who's gonna go. But I think listen, I think there's a lot.
I feel like the biggest stays are probably got to be. Sorry to cut you off, but I think that the biggest stays have to be St. Brown.
St. Brown is the best
the big
player
defensive
on the team.
guy.
Oh, the new defensive guy?
Yeah, who's really fucking good.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you like just drafted him. He's huge. Some of the guys on that offensive line, maybe he is an offensive lineman. I don't remember, but one of your linemen on one of the sides,
Penei Sewell.
Yes,
Penei
he's
Sewell's
a definite
awesome.
stay. He's a definite stay. I think decisions like you said are gonna have to be made. Like Flowers gone, Goff gone, obviously.
Well, Goff is unfortunately
he's there, but like it's more of a
he's a bridge quarterback.
You're right. That and also eating these big fucking contracts that they're just stuck with. I also think that Hawkinson is probably not going to be there long term either. But maybe he will be. Who knows? Hard to say.
I mean, I hope he can be. He's a good piece.
Yeah, he's
but,
a very good player.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, might be a guy we can trade and get some value for and get some draft capital. But I mean,
that's kind of my thoughts, especially maybe using him as like a way to also be able to sort of smuggle someone else out of there. Like maybe you can trade like, hey, if you eat the cap of this jackass, we'll also add in this one.
If you eat the cap of this jackass,
who says no?
We'll throw in another one for free.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's crazy. A team that all expectations, specifically for me, were that they very well easily could have went 0-17, like just easily. That's just the way it seemed to be headed. Now, before the season started, I said that it would probably be optimistic to say that this team wins 3 games, and that's pretty much exactly what they did. I mean, 3.5, kind of.
Yeah,
but
100%.
But hey, that's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
To hit like what my peak for this team was, they hit it. And I'm like, honestly, with the pieces that they had, which was no talent on the wide receiving front, except for obviously eventually St. Brown did come into his own, thank God. But like with no wide receivers whatsoever, and just a whole lot of mishmashy pieces, and Jared Goff being obviously not even close to being a great quarterback. It's just, you couldn't expect much else. So the fact that they at least lived up to it, though, is pretty good.
Well, not only that, but also the fact
teams they beat. Holy fuck.
Well, yeah, like the fact that they pretty much went like 500 their last 2 months of their season.
Yeah.
Like it really was just like, once they Like just the amount of risk that he called plays with, like the willingness to do fakes, the willingness to have a different type of style. And they just went out and gave it their everything and left it all on the line. And I think that's, if there's anything you want to ask for from your team, it's that, right? So,
and they also managed to beat 2 division rivals, one of which is going to the playoffs. They beat another playoff team and then tied with a playoff team.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I see this as an absolute win.
I mean, the quality of it, it's like, and the thing of it is too.
Now we get the number 2 overall pick and another pick in the first round as well.
Absolutely. And the thing that's funny is it very much reminds me of the Pistons of a year or two ago, where it's just like every game they kind of lost by like the last second field goal or some bullshit. Yeah. So it's like, it's not like they got blown out in a lot of these games. I mean, these were easily winnable games. So it's like, they're not that far off from being able to turn those into W's. So you start to add a couple of pieces, you get a high draft pick or whatever. And next thing you know, one of those guys could just be that key piece to turn those all into W's. And next thing you know, you're a 500 team.
Right.
So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's not too far off. So to all of our Detroit Lions fans, go Lions,
Go Lions.
You guys, you don't have a whole lot to celebrate, but hey, you know what? Fuck it. You be Aaron Rodgers kinda and Jordan Love for sure. So,
Yep.
Absolutely a W.
Listen, I see this as an absolute win. Let's go and let's have a solid draft. See if we can maybe even trade back and get some solid pieces. And listen, man, whoever we bring in, let's bite some kneecaps, let's kick some ass, and let's
like I was telling you that one episode, you asked if they were going to fire Dan Campbell. I think that this unequivocally answers that question as no, and that Campbell's Corner on this podcast will continue.
Oh, Campbell's Corner is here to stay, ladies and gentlemen.
Hell
We're
yeah,
gonna have
baby.
ourselves a good old bowl of Campbell Corner. Don't you worry. That is staying.
Hell yeah.
Hell
now,
yeah, brother.
Of course. This brings us to the Raider Report.
The Raider Report.
Time for some Raider news.
The team that we thought was going to have more conflicts than wins, somehow
they still do.
Yeah. Even with getting to the playoffs on the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Hell yeah, dude. So that game was amazing. I stayed up all night and watched it, which was maybe not the best idea considering that, I had to work in the morning, but you know what, who cares?
Definitely not you.
Exactly. So my Las Vegas Raiders. I tell you what, Sean, since the last time we did this podcast, another player got arrested. He was drunk as a skunk. He was parked on the side of the road. Luckily, he wasn't speeding into the back of any vans and killing a young girl and a dog. But still, he was arrested. He was one of our better defensive players. But
why?
Sean,
what did they do wrong in this front office and with John Gruden? Like that they just
fucking know.
They completely forgot to check. They're like, we forgot to check if they had character. That's what we were forgetting to ask about.
It's the Raiders, dude. It's honestly somehow a miracle to me that Jameis Winston isn't the quarterback of this team. But
did they confuse their 40 times with their GPAs? Like, is that what's going on here?
Most likely. But so this team had yet another player get arrested in between episodes of this show. But Sean, that didn't matter because they went in to that beautiful black hole known as Allegiant Stadium. Victoria Madden was in the building, RIP to John Madden, her husband. And they played their fucking asses off to give John Madden in his, ascension to the afterlife, one last W and enter the playoffs for the first time since
with
2016.
An interim coach.
And for the first time ever in the NBA with an interim coach, which is insane.
For an NFL coach, interim level, to get these guys to play as well as they are and to get to where they are, absolutely insane. Now,
do I think he's the coach of the future? No fucking chance. And no. I definitely, as a Raiders fan, do not want that. I think the Raiders don't want it. They've made it pretty clear. Do I want Jim Harbaugh? I don't think I really necessarily like that any better either. That being said, he did lead the 49ers to a Super Bowl. And the only other thing that I would like about that is that I think that that might be something that could sway a guy like Russell Wilson to decide that their Raiders are where he wants to go. So you get Jim Harbaugh. He kind of, the what do you call it? The glitz and the glam of Las Vegas. And then you also add in a respectable coach like Jim Harbaugh. Russell Wilson goes, that sounds interesting. I like this situation. He looks at, they've got a couple of, they got a couple of pins on their team. And so, he comes on over and then he starts to recruit some players. And next thing you know, we got ourselves a little football team, Sean.
And it's a great way to stay in shape.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think enjoy your one playoff game. Cincinnati.
Hey, we're against the Bungles, all right? This is our only shot at a win. I mean, they're a great team, and Joe Burrow's been playing out of his fucking gourd. However, of every single team that we could have possibly played in the playoffs, this is the only one that would be like, we could maybe win that.
I couldn't disagree less. I think it's going to be your toughest schedule. I think it's going to be really tough.
Disagree more.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's fine, whatever.
Yeah, fuck me, it's all good. Listen, at the end of the day, it's just going to be a difficult challenge.
Oh, this isn't an easy game. I think it's going to be almost a carbon copy of the Chargers game because I think that they're very similar to the Chargers, except for they don't have a coach who's fucking stupid. Like they don't have like the dumbest coach in the history of sports. Like,
by the way,
hell, even in Madden, Sean, even when I play Madden, I do not go for it on fourth down at my own 18-yard line because I'm not fucking stupid. Like,
dude, and also the fact that the Chargers hire a new coach to improve the team defensively, just for him to have that team down to 30th in total defense in the NFL. Like, it's just like, man,
they hired like some 12-year-old who's learned how to coach football on like a calculator or some shit.
They had
like
Anthony Lynn,
nerd.
And then they got worse.
It's really unbelievable, isn't it?
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
The only way they can salvage this is if they make the right decision, which is to fire this fucking idiot, and then they go out and they get themselves some Brian Flores.
Yeah.
Who shouldn't be available, by the way. The fact that's another organization that's the dumbest fucks in the world. Like the Miami Dolphins. What are you doing?
They're like,
you finally have some success.
Literally, reportedly, Brian Flores wanted Justin Herbert over Tua Tagovailoa, but the Dolphins like, no, we're gonna do Tua. And he's like, hey, I'm kind of pissed about this. And they're like, you're kind of rubbing us the wrong way. We don't like your vibe.
Dude, it's the same shit as I saw a report today that the Philadelphia Flyers, pretty much everybody except their GM or whatever, wanted Cale Makar, who is by far one of the best generational talents in the NHL right now. This kid is a defenseman that is, I mean, just he will likely, if he continues on this trajectory, be one of the greatest ever to do it. He's just magic on ice. And rather than that, they went, where do you pick this other guy who's like fine, I guess, or whatever, but like,
I don't really feel like it.
They literally were like, do we want success and a chance at the Stanley Cup? Fuck that shit. We're Philadelphia. We want ass, baby. Let's go. Let's go. So yeah, it's a similar situation, but no. So the Las Vegas Raiders, I think that they are going to make some interesting moves this offseason. I do think it is an extremely real possibility that they could end up with a guy like a Jim Harbaugh, but
it's definitely possible.
Even better than that, even fucking better, is since we do have a vacancy and there is Brian Flores available, who says no?
I think
there's a lot of great coaches available, to be honest.
Yeah, they have some very interesting decisions to make as a franchise coming soon because
Derek Carr is also going to be gone.
Derek Carr is not getting any. Yeah, Derek Carr is not getting any younger.
Well, and his contract is up this season, so they're either going to have to pay him, which
you don't want to pay him.
they're going to have to get a young quarterback, or they're going to have to go find someone like a Russell Wilson, which I think is a real possibility because some of the teams he mentioned were the Cowboys, who just re-signed Dak, so that's not going to happen. The Bears, who are a dumpster fire, so that's
totally
not going to happen.
I feel like Derek Carr could become like the next quarterback of the Vikings. He feels like a guy. He feels like a guy that would go to like a team that like just is floundering, looking for a quarterback. And it's like, oh, Kirk Cousins hasn't really done it. So, hey, Derek Carr.
Kirk Cousins actually had a really good statistical year this year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, he actually had a really solid year.
Kirk Cousins, I don't know. Maybe. He's never offensive statistically. He's always like serviceable at best, but like,
So he's Derek Carr.
Yeah.
No, but
no, I'd rather have Derek Carr.
It depends on which Derek Carr you get. If you get like good Derek Carr, he looks like Tom Brady. If you get bad Derek Carr, he looks like the bad version of Matthew Stafford.
Well, yeah, I guess I'm wrong. Kirk Cousins, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That's pretty good. But
he was really fucking good this year. He was the last thing that was like a problem on that team this year. Like the Vikings obviously were not like a great team this year, but he was honestly not the fucking problem.
Robert, our next episode, we should do after the wild card weekend. We'll have to do our bracket and pick our winners to the playoff.
I like this idea a lot.
Yeah.
We should definitely do that. We should have done that this time, but we fucked up. It's fine.
We fucked up, homie. I fucked up, but if God got us, then we gonna be all right. We go.
I was gonna say we're getting canceled immediately
for the pay cut.
Okay, but no. I'm super excited. I'm just happy to see my team in the playoffs, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously, I'm also a humongous Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, and I don't want to hear any shit about bandwagon. We've already discussed that or whatever. I've been a diehard fan. But and speaking of which, they play the Eagles, which is a super winnable game. So the only thing that could stop us is the fact that we have one wide receiver, and his name's Mike Evans, and he seemed to have gotten a little bit shaken up last game, so we might have no wide receivers. So fun.
Well, hey, that's exactly what you want is no wide receivers.
Absolutely.
Like
but if there's any quarterback who can turn a completely worthless 5th or 6th string white quarterback into the next god, it's Tom Brady.
That's the man.
It's literally all he does.
It's what he do, baby. Yeah.
He takes like undrafted or like low pick, worthless 6th fucking man white dudes, and he turns them into gods, and it's hilarious. It's just what he does. It's bizarre.
True.
And he still has Gronky Kong, so he'll be all right.
Oh God, yeah, that's true. He does got Gronky Kong. Well, this is probably a good ending point, as I got to watch the rest of this game and get an article written for it.
Oh yeah, are the stuns on right now?
Stuns are on right now. First
How
quarter's ending. Chicago is currently leading 28-27. It's been really competitive. So
wow.
Yeah.
I will definitely
Beef Stew came out in the offensive end, firing on all cylinders to start the game. He's leading the team with 10. So Pistons are getting it done down low, which is interesting.
Hell yeah.
So
I think I'm definitely gonna go turn that on and probably sit and play like Fortnite on my Switch or something while I watch.
Number 1 victory royale. Yeah, Fortnite about to get down.
And
board right now.
God damn it, I hate you so much.
Oh, same.
But
I hate me too.
But yeah, man, I feel like it's been a good week for us for our sports teams. Obviously the Lions are not in the playoffs, but it's a moral victory.
Yeah.
And
hey, moral victory. And you know what? My Pistons, we're getting moral victories too. So
some W's. Yeah, why not?
Eventually those could turn into real victories.
Let's settle down, Sean. let's slow down. No, but hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, next episode we will do a little bracket for the NFL, and hopefully my Raiders are still in it. Likely not, but we will see. And for the love of Christ, I hope the Buccaneers are still in it. Otherwise, I might never be on an episode again because I might not be alive anymore.
We're gonna have to do a pizza bet on this Super Bowl bracket.
Oh, we should absolutely. We'll figure something out. We'll talk after the sometime this week. Like I'll have you come over or something like that. We'll talk it all out. We'll figure it out what kind of wager we want to do. That'll be fun.
And you'll see it next time on the Pizza Palace.
Hell yeah, boys.